Hey folks. It's been kind of an emotional time for me for a lot of reasons. I'm sure it's been also for a lot of folks. And I think it's just a little bit of a fun coincidence that this game comes out now. Because it's about getting over it, so let's get over it. You're just a person in a pot with a hammer. In great need of sensibility and with maybe too much sensitivity. Let's do it. All right. I'm told. Oh, is the mic muted? Well, that's a great start. Can you hear me speak? She asks, wondering. It is very quiet.
There's no feeling more intense than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have, or if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute. If you won some money at the casino and then put all your winnings on red
did
but
it!
came up flat.
Great job!
If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on it. If you won an argument with a friend and then later discovered that they just returned to their original view. Starting over is harder than starting up. If you're not ready for that, like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
Well, has been kind of a rough, well, not exactly rough, just it's been a day. It's been a week, it's been a month. But let's just get over it. And thank you so much, Kristen, for the follow, for the sub. I very much appreciate it. So yeah, we're just this person in a pot with this hammer. And it's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Mostly this kind of movement. Yep. Most of the weight is on the hammer, so we're in a good position here. Whoa. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. This is not a game about having easy breaks. This is just not working, but that's okay. Just gonna move a little bit here. There we go. Yep. There's a lighthouse in the distance. There's some guidance in there. But we just have a direction. This direction. And a purpose. And we're just gonna do it. If you've played other Bennett Foddy games before,
Alright.
then you kind of
Thanks
know
for
what
coming with me on this
Oh,
trip.
speaking of Bennett,
I'll understand if you have to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. Don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even your mistakes.
That's great!
that is great. This progress is saved. That's important. Almost. Almost just a little. Oh, there we go.
Whoa. This game is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002 titled Sexy Hiking. The author of that game was Jazuo, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B games are rough assemblages of found objects. designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following.
Oh, like asset
They're built
storm
more for
farms.
the joy of building them than as polished products. In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly
That's
games of its time.
great.
In it, your task is simply to drag yourself up a mountain with a hammer. And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward progress is guaranteed. Some cliffs are too sheer or too slippery, and the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything. Anyway, when you start Sexy Hiking, you're standing next to this dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game. It might take you an hour to get over that tree, and a lot of people never got past it. You prod and you poke at it, exploring the limits of your reach and your strength, trying to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time. In that sense, every pixelated obstacle in Sexy Hiking is real.
I really, really appreciate the little narration that we get sometimes. Whoa, no. Yeah, this is a lot of what this game is. Just like careful movement. Sometimes you get the flow of it, sometimes you don't. And you just keep going. See, like that. Whoops. Sometimes you mess
The
up.
obstacles in Sexy Hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazzuo intended to make a frustrating game. The frustration is just essential to the act of climbing, and it's authentic to the process of building a game about climbing. A funny thing happened to me as I was building this mountain. I'd have an idea for a new obstacle, and I'd build it, test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it easier. It already felt like my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder. Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them, and it's our repeated attempts to reach the summit that turns those mountains into something real.
Imaginary mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them. That's pretty deep. That's pretty deep, game. Yeah, I really appreciate the voiceover and little like soiree music in the back. That feels really cozy. Speedruns of this will be very, very interesting. I'm kind of excited about that. Whoop. Alright, there we go. I say there we go, but we don't know just how far we'll be able to make
When
it
you're
here.
building a video game world, you're building with ideas. And that can be like working with quickset cement. You mold your ideas into a certain shape that can be played with, and in the process of playing with them, they begin to harden and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world. Not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas.
Whoa!
Oh, you just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration, a real punch in the gut.
That part is great because I feel like that was kind of supposed to happen, and that's usually what happens at this part. And that's totally fine. I kind of dig a crafted experience. Even though I also really like roguelikes, so I feel there's whoa.
Oof, sorry about that.
I kind of really like. I think this character is like looking very much very methodical and just like, yep, I'm just gonna do this and then that and then whoa. Well, just gonna keep going. Do wonder why he's in this spot though.
You did it! Great job!
Hey, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it a lot. Yo. finally gonna start streaming more regularly again. I say that even though I have like another trip coming up like very, very soon, but I also do need to figure out some sort of on the road streaming thing because I do want to keep streaming. It's important to me. Okay, maybe not. But of course, like my big setup is kind of here, so gotta do some stuff. Though I did get some interesting things. Like I did get some pocket operators, and I'm like really stoked to do some music with those as soon as I understand how they work. So maybe that's something I could do on the road, some like music-oriented streams, and that could be cool. Also because they have a little cable, so I could just plug that into... I'm saying I can just plug that into my laptop, but maybe my laptop doesn't actually have any sort of plug, and I would need... I'll think about it, but that is something I've been wondering when it comes to streaming. Okay, well not. There we go. But again, like I'm saying, here we go, but it could all vanish in an instant, like so. Whoop. Your character is grunting throughout it all, and that I think that adds to it a lot. Yeah, okay, this part specifically is tricky. Okay. There we go. Just move this here. Nope, that was not the way. There we go. Yep, we bring it back. That's not gonna work. So we just... Sometimes you can just flail at the problem and solve it. Sometimes you need a little bit of finesse. Kind of like life. I unfortunately have not seen Avatar, and I don't know what the cabbage merchant is like. Whoa!
Oh, it happened again. Keep on trying. Don't let it get to you.
I should maybe look up the cabbage merchant. That sounds like something important. Raskus, is all my travel con related? Most of it. Recently I went to Toronto to go to Damage Camp, a really cool one-day conference, game developing conference where I got to speak and I got to talk about what I learned from game design. Well, what I learned, like, as a game designer from my time as a speedrunner. So the lessons that speedrunning taught me on game design is what I've been trying to say, pretty much. And it was a really cool experience, and I would totally do it again. So I'm kind of hoping they do this again next year.
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
And that's kind of interesting. I have like a special relationship with failure because, like I felt like a failure for a very long time. But then I got into games, and it's kind of drilled into you early on when you make games that failure is part of it. Like failure is how you learn and how you get better and make things. Like iteration is important. Like you will never make a great game on the first try. It's just not something that happens, or at least you have like an incredibly tiny chance of doing it. But if you just mess up a few times and try again, then you dramatically raise your chances, and that's really, I feel that's really heartening to know. I'm really stuck in this little part, aren't I? I'm having a lot of trouble just getting back to where I was. Probably because I'm like thinking about this a little bit too much. And the more I think, and the more methodical I try to make things, then I guess my gut just isn't working. You know what? Hey, I wonder, can I play this with a controller? I wonder if that would be better. Guess not. Okay, well, I guess we're doing this then. There we go. See, yeah, that's there. And we move. Oh, thank you so much for dropping by, Pepper. There we go. Okay, here's the tricky part now. Alright, can I drag myself up this bit? I can. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm just spotting on my Twitter feed. Misty got my book on to read. That's cool. Also, that reminds me, I need to put Squidmade on Amazon somehow. Cause why not? Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, the hammer, like the hammer and the pot, everything kind of has this really satisfying sound. Can I push my no? I would just like to stop doing this. Thank you. Like so. Okay, well, knowing that putting books on Amazon is easy, then I have no trouble doing it. I mean, that reassures me and makes me think I'm not going to have that much trouble doing it. Welcome back, Bunny. Alright. Gosh, the sounds are just so great. Yeah, this place is kind of slippery. It's very smooth. Oh yeah, see, this is what happens. This happened last time too. So yeah, this place was very specifically made to have this situation happen.
Going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad, and I ain't going to be treated this way.
I love that Bennett Foddy like licensed this song specifically for this use. That is just so good for me. Gosh, this is really tricky. It keeps doing this. Just take a rest.
Feed me on cornbread and cheese. They feed me on cornbread and cheese. They feed me on cornbread and cheese, and I ain't going to be treated this way.
Oh gosh, I hit the cup again. That was nefarious. Nope. No. See, also, like, the cursor kind of moves when you fall. So I feel that's kind of making it a little bit harder.
$10 shoe fits my feet. $10 shoe fits my feet, and I ain't going to be treated this way.
Okay.
Going where the weather suits my clothes. I'm going where the weather suits my clothes. I'm going
Nope.
where the weather suits my clothes, and I ain't going to be treated this way.
Yeah, it's that little push, isn't it? And we're back. Not where we started, but where we failed to keep going. So yeah, I got this little thing, and that was great because I managed to like have like a friend gave it to me, and it was broken, but I managed to like get it replaced under warranty. And I got the arcade, which I really love. It's like it makes the best bleeps and bloops, and I had to like have it shipped from Toronto to here, and it barely got here today, right before the weekend, but it's defective. So I was eager to get it, and then it was steaming, I had to wait, and then I waited, and then I finally got it, but it's broken. But I'm going back to Toronto, so I can have it exchanged at the store over there. And hopefully then I'll be able to like mess around with it the way I want it. So just for that little cool thing of me getting into music, and because I've been wanting to get into music, and like Christine and Andy talked to me a lot and showed me how like this whole thing works, and I'm excited to get stuff done, but it's been like in that tiny microcosm of the past week, it's been a bit of a series of bummers. But you know, just keep going. Got other stuff to do. I can make this work. Yeah, this one, yeah, you have to be, gosh, this one is going to be real tricky. And then it's super easy to fall. I wonder how did I do this earlier? I love that you're just in a pot. You're just in a cast iron pot. It's really just like all there is to it. This really feels like some sort of Threshold Guardian. The part in the game where they're like, alright, you just messed around, you kind of figured out how stuff works, but this is where it ends. Like, this is the boss before the boss. If you can't do this, then you're not ready for what's up next. And I've put that in my game too. I've had periods, like places and levels specifically designed this way. Like in Chariot, spoiler alert in case you haven't played Chariot. There's a part of Chariot that involves there's a collectible. And at some point, if you're real clever, you find the spot where those collectibles go. And then you realize, oh, okay, I need to progress. To open this mythical door, I need to have all the collectibles. And when you come back with all the collectibles, then the door opens. And instead of giving you, like, immediately the prize, what you get is you get a little section. You get a level, sort of. And that little bit of level is incredibly difficult. It's because it was made basically to test you and also teach you a little bit, just to show you, hi, this is the kind of stuff you're going to be dealing with in the level that's at the end of this little part, this little entrance. So you're going to need to be able to master this before you get into the level, because once you're in the level, it's going to be way harder. So here's the first taste. And I've spoken with players who made it through that, and some of them were like, oh, that was really, like, they were not super enthused about it, but I feel that was like, I kind of I feel that was only fair to like give you a tail. Okay, it's not enough just to grab all the things. You also have to show that you can use all the things. But I've softened up a little bit. I don't know if I would do this again in a game, especially not like a casual, like a very fun co-op game for friends. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes, because I'm not exactly
You've done this
making
part
games
before.
right now. I'm
You
writing
know it's
novels.
possible. Just do what you did the first time.
Yep. I don't remember what I did the first time. Oh, something like this, I guess. Yep, that's pretty much what I did. Alright. Did the hammer hook enough for me to do this? Yep. Kind of. Okay, now I lost it, but that's okay. No, you go back here. I kind of miss the music now. Nope. Oh, almost. Just need to like hook the thing in there. No. Other way. Yeah, kind of like that. This is hard. Oh, you actually saw one in the physical store on sale. Nice. Yeah, because we sold a PC version. I say we. It's the company that I left sold a PC version of Chariot. And now there's going to be a limited run version that comes out on Friday. I'm going to try to get it because it's like, it goes on sale at 10 a.m. I think EST, and then they're gone, and when they're gone, they're gone. So I actually told them, like, hi, I worked on the game. Could you, like, reserve a copy? And says, no, sorry, just good luck. So I guess I'm going to try to get one. Because it would be fun to have, like, a PS4 version of this game that I made with some coworkers. I'm not sure if Bennett did all the Foley work. I would not put it past him. I kind of really like Bennett's games. They're like really obnoxious, but also really well made. I kind of like the combination. But also they're like obnoxious while being kind of unassuming. It's like it doesn't seem to be a point of pride to finish the game. It's really just about, no, here it is. Just go for it. I really like GURP. Really big fan of GURP. I should probably stream GURP at some point. It's probably my favorite game of his. I like GURP a lot. Okay, I can rest on this. And grab a hold of this. And okay, this is, I need to go here. Like this. Alright, now, tricky part is, okay. How am I going to maneuver this thing? Like, it's real tricky. Okay. I can do this. I can pull myself up a little bit. But it's tricky. Yeah, see? This game is real hard. Like, it kind of feels like, yeah, there's a lot of it that's luck-based. Sometimes you kind of just have to get a feel for what you're doing, and sometimes you just gotta go for it. We may not get past this part tonight. I guess this is kind of the thing about this game. We just might not do it. Despite a little fella who's like trying his best, but also having a bit of a tough time with this whole thing. See? Like that. Just, you flick it the wrong way, and you lose so much progress. Of course, you gotta know that this isn't, like, the only time this is gonna happen. Once I get past this and get higher up, it could very well just keep happening again. This is probably what this game is. Like these little flicks ruining everything. Spending so much time getting back to where you were. But that's the thing, also that's a cool lesson. Like, it kind of feels like, oh, I've wasted the last few minutes because I didn't get any progress. I've just come back to where I was over and over again. But kind of like in games like Dark Souls, which is kind of like known for its, both for its difficulty, but also for the fact that it is absolutely not random. I have come back here, but I know more now. I have more knowledge about the situation. I kind of know what's up. And every time, I get a little bit better. So I might not win now. I might not win the next 10 times, but I'm getting better every time. And I think that's a good lesson to have, to learn. Like this part here. Okay. So, there's a bit of resistance.
For years now, people have been predicting that games would soon be made out of prefabricated objects, bought in a store and assembled into a world. And for the most part, that hasn't happened, because the objects in the stores are trash. I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are.
Whoa.
I mean they're trash in the way that food becomes trash as soon as you put it in the sink. Things are made to be consumed and used in a certain context, and once the moment is gone, they transform into garbage. In the context of technology, those moments pass by in seconds.
See, yeah, this whole thing, I have very precious little room on the right side, on the left side here. So if I mess up, I can find myself back at the end of the hill. That's gonna be rough for me. And there we go. It's gonna be hard. I'm assuming this is kind of the tree that the narrator was talking about sexy hiking. This really feels like that part. Like, imagine if sexy hiking started this way. Like, imagine if this game started this way. Like, oh my gosh, how am I even gonna get it? But it's not enough to start this way. You have to have struggled to get here. You have to have something to lose once you're here. And I think that's important to the premise of this game. Like, I'm kind of learning a little bit about what I can and can't do. But yeah, this is tricky. Whoa, that was weird. I didn't know that worked. I got hit on, I snagged my hammer on a pixel. Whoa, no. I made it past the devil's chimney. Oh, thank you. I try to be positive, but like, there's like something also to it, in that I don't believe in being positive just because being positive is good. I do my best to try to see, like, okay, let's talk a little bit about me versus my mother. My mother is very spiritual. She's also a life coach. We are a lot alike, turns out. And she likes to think that the universe is a force that works for us, that's trying to get the best for us. And that is totally fine because that philosophy, that belief, like, is very beneficial to her. And that's totally fine. I can't really think that way myself. Like, I cannot believe that there's actually this giant force working for us because there's so many of us. There's a lot of...
Over time, we've poured more and more refuse into this vast digital landfill that we call the internet. It now vastly outnumbers and outweighs the things that are fresh and untainted and unused. When everything around us is cultural trash, trash becomes the new medium, the lingua franca of the digital age. And you can build culture out of trash. But only trash culture. Be games, be movies, be music, be philosophy.
Thoughts on garbage aside. My mom believes that the universe is a powerful force that wants to help us, that sends us messages. I don't believe that. But I do believe that we as humans, I mean, like, good, bad, optimism, pessimism, like, a lot of that stuff is, like, it happens in our heads. There's a lot of forces at work. Like, it's weird that we have this, I kind of, yeah, okay, I get what we have to do here. It's going to be tricky. Oh, yeah, this is going to be rough. I understand that, and I experience also lots of moments where, by all accounts, I should be feeling well, but I'm not. And basically, a lot of that is, like, part of it could just be because of biological reasons. I haven't had enough water. Our brains are real bad at figuring out when we're dehydrated, and that's so weird. That's something we've never perfected, or haven't perfected enough in millennia of evolution. Like, whoa. But also, remember your meds. But, like, that said, stuff can happen. Our bodies can put us in moods. So many things can make it hard for us just to go through a day. That's rough. Times you can spill water on yourself. I'm also, hey, spoiler alert, I am 37 years old. I still sometimes spill water on myself when I drink. Like, yeah. But we have a pretty amazing capacity to, like, it's called, like, see the silver lining, find the good things. And it's like, I really don't subscribe to the idea that, okay, this is kind of what I need to do here. This is going to be rough. I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, and that there's a good thing, there's a silver lining to everything. Like, I don't think so. There are things that happen that are universally bad and that suck, and that there's actually no good that can come from them. That happens. It's real rough, but it can totally happen. Kind of like this. So yeah, that's a sucky situation, and like there's
Maybe this is what digital culture is. A monstrous mountain of trash, the ash heap of creativity's fountain. A landfill with everything we ever thought of in it. Grand, infinite, and unsorted.
So, like, we humans can actually see some... Oh, I thought I did not detect the collision correctly. We're pretty good at, like, seeing positive things. So, like, it's like this thing here with the thing that's like, it's not working correctly, I'm gonna have to wait to get it. It could, like, my mom could say, like, oh, well, that just means that, like, the universe is telling you that you need to be patient, or everything happens, like, there's going to be good things that come out of me having to wait to get a functioning one. And that might be it, but I feel that, no. If there are good things that come out of it, it's because I will have found it. I will have consciously, like, looked for that. And I think that's a skill that we can develop, like getting better at. Am I stuck? Okay. Getting better at.
There's 3D models of breakfast, Gen X's fanfic novels, scan magazines, green screen Shia LaBeouf, banned stuff scenes on Live Leak. Facebook's got lifelike bots with unbranded adverts and candid shots of Kanye and Taylor Swift mashups, car crash epic failed GIFs, Russian dashcam vids,
Yes.
discussions of McRibs, discarded, forgotten, unrecycled, muddled, rotten, untitled.
So yeah, like, oh wow, even the rope counts. Well, so I think, yeah, like, we can become better at finding, like, good things out of sucky situations. And, like, for me, sometimes it's just like, oh, I can become a better person by figuring out how this can turn into a good thing for me. Sometimes it's just, okay, this thing really sucked for me, but I'm not gonna let myself be defeated. I'm gonna find a way to turn this into something positive for me. And as an example, is this, like, my first light novel. I say my first because I'm working on the next one, and I'm really stoked about it.
You did it! Great job!
Thank you so much for the sub, Trace. Oh. Like, this whole book came around. This whole book came into being because I made this post on Splatoon. I made a fake light novel covers because that's the thing I do. And Nintendo took it down. It says, no, that's advertising. You can't advertise your book. I'm sorry, we're taking it down. And I got so mad that it's a joke. It's not an actual book. I got so mad that I decided to prove them right and write the actual book. And I wrote the book, and it became like the top book on itch for a few days after its launch, and like it's helped my Patreon get to a point where it's almost paying my rent, and like it basically like helped me figure out that maybe this is actually a thing I could be doing, like light novel writing and illustrating. That's something I really love. So like this all came out because I went from like, oh, I'm really sad that they took down this pick that I worked really hard for, and I like felt sad, but I felt, no, this is something I do when I'm angry. I try to drown my anger to like stamp it out with depression and with sadness and with tears. I'm like, no, I'm gonna turn this into something. I'm gonna use all these intense feelings and burn them as fuel for something. And like, we're not always in a wrong way, really? Whoops. We're not always in a position to do this. Really, it's okay. Well, we're not really in a position to do this, but I think when we can, it's important. And this, like, basically comes down a lot to what my mom thinks about, like, oh, there's this, like, this is really where I have to go. Oh, yeah, wow, okay. Oh, hold on. Automod is being, like, very eager. Alright. I kind of lost what I was saying, but basically, like, I think it's healthy to see if we can turn something into a
Everything's
good thing.
fresh for about 6 seconds, until some newer thing beckons, and we hit refresh.
Whoa.
And there's years of persevering, disappearing into the pile, out of style, out of sight.
I'm probably going to fall here and lose a bunch of progress, because this is going to be really tricky to do. Yeah, see, it's like, yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of how I see things and how I. Well, okay, they're nice. They're actually pretty nice here. I thought they would be meaner, but okay. No, actually getting back here is going to be the tricky thing. Okay. So, that's kind of my view on it. And like failure and silver linings. I think it's pretty amazing the power we have to take things that hurt us and turn them into things that can help us. But again, it's not always possible. Sometimes something bad happens and you don't have the energy to use it to turn it into something else, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, making it to the end of the day is important, because it's important to realize that we have a limited amount of energy, and at the end of the day, we have less of it. So it's actually a thing that sometimes we just can't deal with something because it's just been too much. But tomorrow we'll be in a better spot to do it. So we just need to hold on till tomorrow. And after we wake up, because during the night our brain has had time to process the day, assimilate the information, file everything away, and we wake up refreshed. And sometimes we have a bad night's sleep and that sucks. But most of the time, hopefully, we'll wake up in a better situation, with a little bit more energy and a little bit more knowledge, and we'll be in a better spot to start the day. Hi kid, what's up? Okay.
In this context, it's tempting to make friendly content that's gentle, that lets you churn through it but not earn it. Why make something demanding if it just gets piled up in the landfill, filed in with the bland things?
Am I supposed to... Whoa.
The soul would have no rainbow,
Nope.
had the eyes no tears. John Vance Cheney.
Gosh, it's a weird place here. Okay, well. I still find it so silly that you're just a person in a pot with a hammer, and that's the game.
The pain I feel now is the happiness I had before. That's the deal. C.S. Lewis.
Oh, night, Nicole. Now, this is me at a decent day. There will be bad days where I just can't do it. And that's fine. I can't always be, finding the silver lining and stuff. And, my goodnight tweets, that's kind of what I do. That's what I'm doing at that point. I'm trying to find, figure out what I learned that day. Because I feel it's important to, well, it's not that I feel that it's important to reflect on the day, but it's something I've been told. It's actually healthy at the end of the day to consciously reflect on what you learned. Because it helps your brain remember it. And I want to get better, so heck yeah, I'll do that mental exercise. And that's how I've been using my goodnight tweets to See, like, all right, here's what I learned today, and here's what I want to pass on. And also, here's a little tip. If you see me do a goodnight tweet, like I always, my goodnight tweets, I have a formula. I start with good night, folks, and I end with a little less than 3 heart. If good night, folks, the opening sentence ends with a period, with a full stop, and not an exclamation mark, it means I'm having a bad day. I cannot fake being cheerful, but I still want to communicate something. Whoa, that was close. Hey, Penguin. Oh, it saves exactly where you are at all times. That's good. Yeah, also I think I'm kind of losing my, my coordination right now. It's late, so I don't think I have a lot of time left. Probably shouldn't push it too much. See, like I keep getting close calls, so I think I'm gonna call it a day very quickly. Yeah. I'm gonna stop it here because I'm getting like shaky a little bit, so don't really want to risk it. Also, there's like this weird scene on the bottom left. It's interesting, like, oh yeah, this everything is a weird jumble of angles, but the collision map is all like very two-dimensional, and I think that's neat. Yeah. I like this game. This game is really neat. It's got some lessons in it, and also it's a good game to like be self-reflective and think about stuff. And I really, really like the name because, yeah, it's like it's about getting over it. It's getting like there's a mountain, and it's about getting over it, but also. Yeah, like you're gonna try, you're gonna fail, you're gonna go back to where you started. It's gonna feel that way, but you learned something, and that is priceless. That is the important bit. You are not back where you started. You have something more than you did back then. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, because we're all getting better, a little bit at a time. So yeah, thanks for dropping by. I'm gonna try to keep doing those little streams because I think this game merits it, and also I like having opportunities to just like chat with y'all and get some cool stuff going. And in the meantime, I'm gonna be very happy when I get a version of this that works without blinding me with a light malfunction. I have this little thing. I got I'm gonna be honest. I got it because it just happened, but it's kind of like it was a happy coincidence that I managed to like get this. A friend gave it to me, but it's specifically the one I was eyeing because there's a little mouse in the corner and a little LCD screen, and I'm really happy about that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep writing. I'm gonna keep doing things. I'm very eager to keep working on my my next light novel. I've already started posting about it on my Patreon. You can check it out. There's info down here if you want to. And as usual, as soon as it's done, all my $5 and up patrons will just get it. And at that point, it will replace Squidmades. So Squidmades will no longer be a Patreon reward. But yeah, I'm excited to keep writing and keep going with this and keep making this work, and I'm gonna keep doing my best. I have a store now. I have like my book, hopefully eventually my books on there, and I like this. I like doing things and having them sustain me. And I want to keep at it. I want to keep doing this. So thank you so much for dropping by. I'm glad you could make it, and especially in like after a while of me not streaming, so I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna try to do it more. I've got so many games to go through. Gosh, it's gonna be great. So until we see each other again, please take care of yourselves because you're important. Best of luck in getting over it, whatever it is. And even if it's hard, it's good to keep in mind that it's gonna get less hard. The sad thing is that doesn't make it hurt less or make it any less hard now. So we really just have to like keep going and keep holding on. But at least we know that if we can just hold on, then we'll get there. So see you next time. And until then, let's keep making wonderful things together. Bye-bye.